madam. And it will happen because people must survive. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Bwana Mkubwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the people of Bwana Mkubwa this chance to ask our Honor, the Vice President, a question. The Honor, the Vice President, my question is I want to find out what transpired at the Ministry of Health, the missing of the 61 containers, which we understand, yes, there's an investigation, though that issue is not in court. Madam Speaker, that issue borders on sabotage and not mere administrative issues. So I want to find out from our Honor, the Vice President, where we are at on that issue, because it affects all of us, as it were, in terms of provision of essential medicines to our various constituencies and our various hospitals in our provinces. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Madam, I didn't get the last part about the constituencies. I don't know whether you can. Okay.
Sorry, you can repeat the question.
Thank you.
Summarize, please summarize.
Thank you. I honor the Vice President. My question is on the missing of 61 containers, which were eventually traced. There's a lapse of time, 6 months from when they were delivered to when the Ministry of Health got wind of it. So my question is, where are we at? Because those issues border on sabotage and not mere administration lapses. What has the ministry done to avert that situation? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Bwana Mkubwa. From the face of it, anybody would agree with you that this is sabotage because it has to do with the lives of the people. But maybe just a little correction, they are not missing, they were put in a wrong place. Yeah. And they have been recovered. You will remember, Madam, that earlier we were told in this house by the Minister of Health that they were actually transporting the same containers to Zambia, premises. In fact, if I remember well, the minister then said they were transporting those things to Zambia premises by ZNS. I remember even that kind of argument in here. And by today, I am told that probably all of them will have reached the Zambia premises. So they are not necessarily missing. But how they went there, this is a matter of investigation. I'm sure heads are rolling. We have to find out what really happened. Indeed, you have a right to ask questions here. But I would pledge that some things, I would pray that some things that border on sabotage, criminality, let us allow investigations. Because 6 months is a long time, but we can't answer standing here. The investigative entities are working on that. And indeed, heads will roll. As the President has said, he will not shield anybody.
The Honorable Member for Lubasenche.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity, and Your Honor, the Vice President, good morning. My question is anchored on the issue of EGP, which is Electronic Government Procurement System. As maybe you wish to know, Your Honor, the Vice President, that Zambia as a country, we are spending a lot of time to make purchase in terms of public goods and services because of this procurement system that Zambia is enjoying at the moment, which is a deter in terms of development, especially in rural areas where we don't have proper network and other facilities which support this system. My question to you, does the government have a clear position as to when you stop using this EGP so that the local people, especially in rural areas, can able to benefit from supplying of goods and services within our constituencies, especially in rural constituencies. I submit.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'd like to thank the Honourable Member for Lubansenshi for that important question and observation on the EGP. Particularly, the Honourable speaks of the people in the rural areas. I think the system, Madam, was established with very good intention. But observations like what the Honourable has said are coming, filtering back. It's a feedback to the policymakers, to the institution, because it seems to be excluding the rural who don't have. This is a reality because I've also seen it, Honourable. I have heard it on the ground, that this is advantaging certain class of people who have access. And therefore, I may not give a clear position, but it has been noted and it has to be looked at to see how we can make it better, how can we clean it up. Because, for example, some of these things are supposed to encourage also the people in the rural areas to participate in the economy. So, and yes, everybody should participate. When a system that you make with good intentions doesn't seem to achieve, you look at it. You look at it and make it better. But I can't tell you that we are doing away with it completely. Probably thresholds could be looked at and then be able to have our people participate. So government has taken note of that, is aware, and we will look at that, together with you, of course. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honourable Member for Kabushi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for according me an opportunity. Honor the Vice President. I want first to appreciate what this government has done to our retirees in terms of paying their packages. However, there is a big challenge, Madam Speaker. The people that retired, or rather should I say, those that were retrenched in 1996 up to 1999 have not been paid, a lot of them. And I've seen them gathering at the Minister of Justice office complaining. When are these people going to be paid? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you very much, Honourable Madam Speaker, and I also thank the Honourable Member who brings out the issue of paying retirees. Most of them, I think we have declared here that this government took a position to pay retirees. We have people that is still, sorry, Council, you are a lawyer here. Some of this, I'll tell you, having been Minister of Labour, it's a complicated matter. You are talking of people from in the 90s. This is a long time. And therefore, in the short term, I would say some of this, if not most of them, have gone through court processes. They are still going through court processes because they may have claimed that they were paid less than what the entitlement was. This, you can have a conversation. You can have a very serious conversation because, Madam, there is also an understanding issue in this matter. But I'll say they will be paid as and when those are out there. They will claim that they were not paid because they were paid less than another person who was paid more after 3 years. I think you do understand what I'm trying to say here. So it is a complicated matter. Some are from, most of them from parastatal, and some of them may have been those that were retired under the early retirement package. So they will be paid as we go on. I can't give you a specific answer as to when they will be paid. Find out. They are going through court processes, then they abandon the court, they go back to court. It's a tedious thing. 1990s is a long time. But I think it's important that honorable members also speak frankly to people and help them. I've given one example, madam. If when I left here as the MP, my graduate was something else than what those who left in 2021 got. That's the way it is. I can't come back and start saying, yes, you gave me little. I think I've said a lot of things in this statement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Mwense.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Madam Vice President, good morning. Madam Vice President, I wanted to know when we can have an honest conversation around the budget in the Ministry of Agriculture. Because if you remember, at one time the Minister came with a credit window, then later on FISIP. So when are we going to have a fair and honest conversation regarding the budget in the Ministry of Agriculture so that we can begin to refocus it on what we think as a country can be the best deliverables, Madam Speaker? Notwithstanding that FISIP has been very supportive in this country, but when can we refocus that particular budget under the Ministry of Agriculture? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honor the Vice President.
Thank you very much, and good morning, honorable member from Mwense. Madam, I appreciate the question, which is when are we going to have a fair and honest conversation around the Ministry of Agriculture. Probably going back to the earlier question on transformation, I think looking at the budget, I think time is, even now, Minister, when people have good suggestions, please bring them. We don't have to do political, because here we may not have a very fair and honest conversation. If there is something, that's why you have the amphitheater. Even other room, you have something different. This is the only country we have, and put in anything that should make it better. Someone people and say we have these ideas. I don't think any minister who really wants to work for the people would say, I don't want to listen to you. No. So honorable, as long as you have something you want to contribute, you may not do it too well here. Unfortunately, this house has become too political. The honest and fair, he should be available, and make available his people, so that you can have those who are interested go and meet and discuss, so that we can refocus if there is need. Don't keep the knowledge away. This is not competition here. We will go and compete when we are campaigning. Here is to help the country. Thank you.
Thank you. So, honorable members, you have a lot of power to summon, through my office, a minister to come and explain any matter that you are not clear on. So use that power. The honorable member for Kabwata.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, according to the National Cancer Registry, the statistics that we have for people that are either dying and dying and actually new cases of cancer being recorded are very high. We have over 7,000 that are dying and over 12,000 new cases of cancer. They keep on coming. Today, we as a nation have continued sending patients to India and Tanzania, and most of them, they're actually not making it. They're either dying on the queue. I wanted to find out if you could either give us an update on how far the new equipment that is supposed to be installed at the cancer hospital, how far has this process gone so that the people out there can know that this is a caring government and the machine is actually being installed? I thank you.
Honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would like to thank the Honourable Member for Kabwata for this question on the issue of cancer. I think all of us here, being Zambians, have seen the rising in cancer cases of all sorts. It's terrible, and all ages indeed. It is terrible. And we agree with you that because of this, there are high deaths and the expense of sending people abroad. And many times we fail to send everybody, and some just die here. Even those that go, I think the cost is something. But one thing is, I know you have asked about the equipment, but from what I learn is that the government is doing everything with cooperating partners to ensure that the issues of cancer, like the hospital, I believe there is a hospital that is being constructed in Ndola for cancer. That is something that we must appreciate. And when you hear of construction of a facility, that means it comes with the equipment, madam. The equipment, the equipment is going to be part of that. But also, here in Lusaka, the Lusaka issue, I am aware that the tender has already been finalized. In fact, identified, if I'm right, the contractor is already identified. And this is Siemens, and basically the delivery, we are hoping that the delivery of the equipment will be done within this year. I know when you are not well, when you have a patient, when you say this year, you think of December and you start panicking. But this is the way it is. And this will come with the package of service. Because this has been the issue. Sometimes we get machines and the service part of the contract is not well done. I think this one has been well looked at. Indeed, we will continue to send our people out, but the issue is there is a hospital and also the equipment is already under procurement. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Nalolo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, good morning. 2 years ago, on 16th, this was on 11th August 2022, at the 16th Cabinet meeting, the Cabinet approved, in principle, the repeal of the National Youth Development Council Act bill to replace it with a new bill that would govern the National Youth Development Council. This follows a petition by a citizen by the name of Ruth Kangwa on the archaic National Youth Development Council Act. Madam Speaker, it's been 2 years since Cabinet approved the introduction of a new National Youth Development Council Act. And now, Madam Speaker, the youth of this country constitute over 75% of the population. What challenges are you having as government?
I honor the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I would like to thank the Honourable Member for Nalolo for this very important question. We say the youth are the future. And therefore, issues that affect the youth now must be looked at. You will forgive me sincerely that I cannot provide this answer. I have to consult a little more, and then I'll come with a response, because I don't just want to say things. I have to follow up what has happened along the line, and indeed what challenges do we have. Then I'll come back. Probably you can remind me if I forget next week, so that maybe I will also push to get the information that is needed. Right now I would mislead the House. Thank you.
I'll give an opportunity to an Honourable Young Tech so that the Honourable Member from Turkey can learn from the manner of questioning. Honourable Member for Nakonde.
Madam Speaker, Thank you very much. Honourable the Vice President, you promised the Zambian people that you fight corruption without any segregation. Yesterday, the SEC mentioned that there are some ministers who are being investigated and they are not being mentioned the names. We just saw that the mayor, amongst those who are being investigated, the name was mentioned, the mayor of Livingstone. Why are you failing to mention the names of those ministers who are being investigated? Is it the reason to State House for shielding purposes? Madam Speaker, I submit.
Honour the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have heard people laugh, but I missed it out. I missed what was said. Fight corruption. Honestly, I didn't get everything. From the grandfather youth, eh? You want to repeat? Yeah, that's okay. We want the answer.
Basically, the honourable member was saying the failure by the government to know, by ACC to name the honourable ministers that are being investigated. That was the gist of his question.
Thank you, Madam. I think we will start naming everybody being investigated. Why are we asking questions like this, Madam? No. Hear me, please. Hear me. Any one of us could be under investigation. Are we going to name investigations that now, is that the way you run a country? No. No. I think we have had, stop answering, sir. Madam, I think we have had this conversation through many other questions that come here. And this is reality. Investigation is not meant to be public. Listen to me. Listen. If they are investigating me, they should tell me we are investigating you.
Oh, the honourable members, and that is the example that you are exhibiting.
Yeah. If that is the way you want, then you are not being real. Some of them, there is already evidence, maybe even appearing in court, but you can't tell everybody that you are being investigated. You want them to cover their tracks. I mean, that is, you can't resign when you are just being investigated. There has to be some evidence. It is the same answer, Council, that I gave here over thick. Investigation is very important. Let people get evidence. When that is done, then surely somebody will be arrested. That's why I have repeated. I think one media house has written what the president said, that I will not shield anyone. And that is what is important. You can't hide criminality. It will come out at the right time. You can't start every suspicion, let's investigate, arrest. Let's investigate. What if you find that what you are saying is not true? Maybe I have received 12 million from my late uncle who lived in the US. Now, listen, you can be suspicious. How does Nalumango become rich? $12 million. How? And therefore, what I said before, my honorable son of Unkana, that's a red flag. But that's no reason to arrest me. Because at the end of the day, I may actually petition or sue the state. Because you may just find that this money, which is suspicious, came from my dead uncle in America. What are you going to do? So first investigate, follow it through, have evidence, arrest the people. I think it is simple. Simple. Madam, That is the way investigations go. The investigative wings are busy investigating many people. So you can't go and start arresting because they are being investigated. But when evidence is found, tangible evidence that is presentable, admissible in the courts of law, then they will arrest. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Sikongo.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, corruption in this country had reached critical levels during the previous administration. However, Madam Speaker, we are comforted as a country due to the fact that we have a president now in office who has pledged to fight this cancer, both past, present, and the future. And this we have seen in the measures that have been put in place and the resources that have been directed to the institutions that are mandated to fight this corruption. However, we have seen unfortunate situations where some people in our country are trying to trivialize this fight against corruption and are trying to show that the president and his administration are merely playing rhetoric to this important fight against corruption. Madam Speaker, my question is, what message of comfort do you have to the Zambian people? And what message do you have to those that think that this fight against corruption is merely rhetoric to this country? I thank you.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to thank the Honorable Member for Sikongo for that question. And he has repeated what the President repeats all the time. You know, some things may seem slow, but when things start happening, then people will say, this man is serious. Even now, it is not just rhetoric, Honorable. The fight is real. Let us not trivialize. Except when they arrest you, then you start saying something else because it is you. Fight is for the past, present, and the future. There is no rhetoric. Let us not trivialize the fight because the leader, the president of this country is committed to that. Even now, some people are still appearing in court. People have lost jobs because of allegations, and then the courts will prove them innocent or guilty, and they will pay, whether through jail terms or through whatever. This government is not living rhetoric. It is actually fighting. And let us all hold hands and see that we don't allow corruption. Corruption which is so difficult to define by individuals. I know of somebody who was requested, can you please help stop this road of smuggling maize? Because it fits you, you say this is being wise. A lot of us would be caught in corrupt practices because we sometimes think it's favor, we sometimes think it is fortune, we sometimes say it is God helping me to quickly do things in an abnormal way. So, this is not rhetoric. This government is fighting corruption. People will explain for themselves. He will not. The president and the entire team will not shield corrupt people. So let us all wake up, whether you are that side or this side. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Magoye.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member for Chama South, you've just come in. You know our standing orders. There is no points of order during her. Or has it slipped your mind? Well, We can raise the point of order after this session. The Honorable Member for Magoy.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, the Vice President, many people, more especially in the opposition, they've been lamenting that they need the President to declare his assets publicly. Yeah. What is your take and what is the position of the law related to that? Thank you.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Don't fear adoption. You should serve the people. Yeah, what is it will not even be my position, it will be the lawful position in this country. I think we are the lawmakers. People think we are lawyers. We are not lawyers, we make laws. We had a law, Madam Speaker, thank you, Magoye, up to 2016, Article 34. The law provided for such declarations and also to make the declaration public. But whatever caused us to change that law, in 2016, honorable members, we changed it. This law now appears in Article 100. Article 100 in the Constitution. You have your Constitution. The provision is that the President will do the declaration before the Chief Justice. Exactly. And then it goes dead on whether the public needs to know. Yeah. So there is no demand as previously where the declaration was made public. That's how we knew that there was an increase from 2 million to 23 million or something like that. Yeah. But now, that part was removed. Yeah. Now, you see, colleagues, when we are making laws, let us stand here, seeing myself there. Yeah. This is very serious. It goes to you, to me. Yeah. When I'm standing here, we are making laws. You must know tomorrow you may just sit there. And that may even be better for you because you may actually be outside where you have no say. Let us make laws that are good for the country, not political laws. Now, we can't change the law as it appears now. So that declaration is not put in the law, is not set out like that. I'm sure the lawyer there, student, has already read, and I've seen him now. He is surprised that it is this the way it is. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you. The next one, as indicated, is the Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Your Honor, I wanted to get a request. I'm urging for a word from you, the Honor, the Vice President, over the distribution of the Eagles meal meal. The people of Kalabo are experiencing much problems in acquiring this meal meal. What effort has the government put in place to make sure that this meal meal is distributed to reach the furthest parts of this country where the Zambians are suffering because of the drought which has affected the yields and lacking much food? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Her Honor, the Vice President.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Kalabo. We have to remember, Madam